Good morning. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and cryptocurrency market analysis. I hope you all had a wonderful week and made money. After all, if we are traders, our job is to make money. So I'm hoping that you're making lots and lots of it, and this analysis is helping you a lot. So that's why you keep watching these videos week in and week out. So I've got some interesting things for this week as well. So stay glued. Don't move an inch. You may just learn something today. All right, so let's get started with the formalities. Quickly, just to talk about this video, lasts about an hour and a half. So most people don't necessarily want to watch all the pairs. So somebody may not be interested in the cryptocurrencies, or somebody may be only interested in the cryptocurrencies. So to toggle around here, this is easy. What you do is, for example, this is one of my previous videos. It's actually this is last week's video. So if you're looking for any specific pair, instead of searching around, struggling, you go to the timestamps. So you will find the timestamps right here at the bottom of the video, where it says show more. You can click there and it will show you all my information. That is my contact details, my Telegram channel, as well as my trading view profile. Okay, so more importantly, however, is the timestamps for the pairs. So for example, if you're looking for Euro US dollar, you just go and click on the link for Euro US dollar and it will take you right into the Euro US dollar analysis, so you don't have to search around. So this helps you to track these webinars as well. So you can go as far back as 4 months ago, because I've only started the timestamps about 4 months ago. You can take about 10 pairs and track each and every one. So for example, you can take pound CAD and look at the previous 10 videos and see what we've been analyzing on pound CAD. So this I'm specifically giving an example with pound CAD because it's one of the pairs that we made a lot of money on, because between in the last 2 months, pound CAD has moved over 2,500 pips up and down. So we've been trading those pips. Also EURCAD. So you can just pick up any one pair to verify the accuracy of this strategy. It's very amazing. Okay, so you can do that. That's the timestamps. Helps a lot. I also do that. So what I do here with every week, I just go and check what the analysis was the previous week and compare to what I am forecasting this week. All right. So let's go back to the chart. So anybody who is interested in the course starts on the first week of June. It's the 11th of June. Okay, so if you're interested in the course, you can please send me an email and I'll give you all the information. That information includes the course content, what is covered, and the schedule. Okay, so even if you're not interested in the course right now, you can just send an email so you can get the information of what it's all about. Okay, so the course, as much as it's on the 11th of June, it's mostly in the first week of every month. So if so it's in the first week of the month. So if you're interested in that, you do not have to wait necessarily for the first week of June or the first week of each month, because when you join up, the first day that you join up, immediately when you confirm you're signing on, I give you a full course package of the previous course recording. So you can actually get started even before the live course in June. All right. So that helps a lot, because most of the time, most people, when I join and they're anxious about learning and they can't wait, so that's why you've got the videos and the materials and notes and PDF books that I give you on signing on. So those are all the signing on materials, onboarding materials that I will share with you. All right, I think that's that with the formalities. So we can get started with the business of the day. Let's start with a correlation between Euro US dollar and the DXY. So on the top here, I've got Euro US dollar chart. I hope you can see it clearly. I'm looking on a small laptop today. So we've got Euro US dollar on the top. Excuse my annotation tool out, and the DXY at the bottom. So I'm going to look at both today. Okay, just trying to get my annotation. Got it there. Great. So what we have been looking at on Euro US dollar and the DXY has been this impulsive move here. It may not be clear now, but I'm going to go to single charts just now. So we've been looking at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the last couple of days, right? So those who watch this weekly would remember that we were looking for at least one push up before we get this move, okay? But I will show you why we did not get this move up, what we missed when we didn't get that move. All right, so similarly on the DXY, what you see here is exactly the same. There's inverse correlation between the DXY and Euro US dollar. Okay, so this piece here is exactly what you have on Euro US dollar. We were also expecting one push lower before we get the move. So we knew that it was going to go down eventually, but we just wanted one move lower. But that does not make us lose money. And as you will see how we'll look at this. So I'm going to look at the individual pairs into one single chart now. So let's look at the Euro US dollar. So we've got the Euro US dollar chart here. So this is the daily on the Euro US dollar. Let's make this a bit bigger. And that is that pulsing move that I've shown you. That is 1, 2, let's do it in yellow. That is 1. You've got a correction there. Let's switch off the numbers. 3, 4, 5, like that. So you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this 5 we wanted it to be a little bit higher. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame and show you why we were looking for one move higher. Okay, so if you look at this here, this was our wave 5 here, and internally, okay, let me just put on the last numbers. This is 3, this is 4, this is 5 here. And if you look at this lower degree here, you had a 1, 2, 3, 4 correction, and we were looking at this. I was actually looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, and I was hoping that this is going to be a 4, and this is going to be a 5, and then that will complete this wave 5 here. So this was supposed to be the wave 5 before we come down. So why did this go down here before we get this push up to make it 5 waves here? Because you only have 1, you got a 2, you got 3, you got 4, you got then the 5 that is missing here. So that was the interesting thing, that we didn't get that 5 wave 5 there. Okay, so this is what we forecasted. We forecasted that we're gonna have this piece up here. Why did that not happen? Simple. So with the wave principle, each and every move is explainable by the theory. Okay, so if you missed an analysis and it did not go right, there must have been something that you did wrong, because the wave theory covers exactly how the market moves. All right, so this is how this looks now. So what happened here, the reason why we didn't get the push up here is because we got, this one was actually supposed to be the wave 4, this move here. And this is the wave 5 that has truncated. See, there's truncation here. Truncation is when wave 5 fails to go beyond the end of wave 3. And that's exactly what we had here. This move did not go beyond the end of wave 3. That's your wave 5. So what happens from there? So from there, we actually start a move down. So this is how we started the move down. Impulsive move down, and then you get a correction. See here, correction in wave 2, 1, 2, like that. So after that correction, we're getting now a lower degree, 1, 2, 3. This is 4 that we forecasted in the last 2 weeks. So we knew that this bounce was going to come. We forecasted before even if it even happens. So now we are at the end of wave 5 of the blue degree. So how will this look? It will look something like this. This is 1, this is 2 now. We are busy building this wave 3 in red here. So we are expecting to get a 4 bounce and a 5, and that will complete the wave A. Let's do that here. Wave A in yellow. Why wave A in yellow? Because this is the wave 5 in yellow. The whole structure here, you'll see that is 3, that is 4, that is 5 in yellow. What are we supposed to get? We're supposed to get an A, which is that move. A, and then after the A, we're going to expect a bigger bounce in wave B. And that wave B, because this is a pulsing move, we are expected to only come back to this 50 to 61% of this move. Clearly, like that, everything can be explained. So we have been selling this from right here. Okay, but when we sold here, we were anticipating that we were gonna take profit only here. In fact, we took some profits. We actually took profits out of this move before we got another entry to the downside, and the structure changed, and we realized that we actually had a truncated fifth, and that we're not gonna get a move to the upside like that. Okay, so if you want, you can also watch the last week's video to see the similarities of the moves that I've shown on this specific pair. Okay, so if I can just show it quickly, I'm gonna first go to the weekly. Maybe I'll show you here current move. I'm doing this because some people always just find the videos now and you have not necessarily seen the previous video. So this is what happened here. So look what happened here with this move. So here we had a 1, 2, 3. We had 3-wave pullback here as well. 1, 2, 3. So after that 3-wave pullback, we had the move down. After the move down, you get what we like in our group to call a V pattern. See here? That's our V pattern. That V pattern changes direction. Okay? Right? So I'm going to take that off and look at this piece here as well. So if you look at this piece, exactly the same thing happened here. You had exactly the same move doing this 1, 2, 3. Difference here is that you had a 3-wave pullback here. That was a zigzag. Here was a flat correction. So, but the move plays out exactly the same. You get a move down and you get what we like to call a V pattern here. As you can see, that V pattern changes direction. In this case, it goes all the way. Okay, so that was those two moves there. Interestingly, if you go to the weekly chart, so a move like this has happened almost 10 years ago. Actually, this move actually took 10 years to develop. So if you look, this is on the weekly chart. Now ignore the annotation here just for now and look at the chart. So this is the weekly chart of Euro US dollar. You'll see that we had a move down, a move up, and down like that, and we had a 3-wave pullback similarly here. See here, it pulls back in 3 waves like the rest. But after pulling back like that, what do we get? We get a pulsing move to the downside. And what do we get after the pulsing move to the downside? We get a V pattern here as well, like that. What does a V pattern do? It changes the direction of the price. What do we get here? That is the direction change. Okay, so you can see 1, 2, 3 have already played out exactly the same moves. So this is pattern analysis. So pattern means repeat. So these things keep reoccurring in the market. And not only the patterns that Elliott has discovered, but the market always keeps giving you similar structures. So let me show you the latest one that we looked at in March. You can look at the video that we did in the first week of March. Okay. So I'm going to go to the 4-hour again and look at the current scenario and why we got this move to the downside. Okay, so you look here, this is the current scenario now. And the current scenario was this move here, right at the top. We looked at this one in, if you can see here, it was starting to build up around March, first week of March. If you go look at the first week of March, we were already seeing this similar pattern. I did a video and I showed it exactly these patterns that I'm looking at now. You get a 3-wave pullback. You see here, 1, 2, 3 down, 3-wave pullback. Okay, so what do we expect? We expect a similar move to the rest. We expect a move down. That's what we looked at. And when we get the move down, what do we expect? We expect the V pattern like the others. And what do we expect here? A change in direction, similar to all the pairs. So if I just take out these price moves here and we left with the patterns, you'll see that I've got on the screen 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns in one pair that are exactly the same. Okay, so that is pattern analysis. So we could see that this last move here was was busy developing a move to the downside, okay? But it was not following the sequence, because as much as the patterns are similar, they must still follow the structure and the sequence. Remember what we said about the sequence? We wanted one more up. So that one more up could be explained. We could explain why it did not give us one more up, because it gave us that truncation, and then we got the move down, as we had been expecting. So for now, we're expecting that we're going to get some sort of a V pattern here and a bounce up. And that bounce up will be that wave 4 that we're looking at. Okay, interesting. All right, so let me just show you that bounce that I'm looking at. Okay, so you can see here we already started that V pattern at the end. So a V pattern does not mean reversal necessarily. V pattern must follow structure. So in this case, if we're going to get a bounce, that bounce will only be a wave 4 in red, as we're looking at here. Okay, so the DXY is exactly the same. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the DXY because it is just the inverse of everything that I've explained just now. So the DXY is like this. Is the DXY. So that move to the downside on Euro US dollar is this move to the upside on the DXY. So pulsing move here, you also can clearly see here that we had this truncated fifth wave here. Okay, it fails to go beyond wave 3. Okay, and then we start the move down as a 1, as a 2, 3, 4, 5 in the lower degree, and then we're expecting that bounce. So you can see here we've got a V pattern as well, and this V pattern is actually it's an inverse one or to the one on Euro US dollar. So we'll be looking for it to go to make this corrective wave 4 here. So what is the trade now? The trade is to wait for this to break to the downside, if you get it. But just remember, this is not going all the way like that. It's just going to be a short move to the downside, basically corrective. So that means the US dollar is still bullish in this case. All right. So let's go through the rest of the pairs. So that's Euro US dollar. Let's look at the pound. So the pound as well, if you go and search on my channel, just look at search on YouTube, Victor Manena, GBP US dollar, you will see a long-term view on the chart on this pair that I did 2 months ago, looking at exactly the move that is already happening right now. Okay, so I'm going to go daily. Okay, so those who like to see the letters in the count can take a snapshot and look at this. This was done over 2 months ago, so it is playing out exactly as analyzed. So if you look at that video, you will see, if I switch this off, you will see that we looked at this as a 1, 2, like that. As a 1, 2, 3 move, because all of this basically is a correction. So how do you label a correction, a complex correction like this? As a trader, you need to master these corrections, because after these corrections comes big moves. You see here. Okay, and I'm not drawing these trend lines because I trade trend lines. I'm just trying to show you that after the correction is complete comes the big move, and this is the move that has already started to the downside, and that move we actually forecasted in these videos, as you can get that with by going through the previous videos. Okay, so this is the structure that I'm looking at here. And you can see that there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, as most traders only know the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC or a WXY. So this one was a very interesting one. And you know the saying that goes, if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem becomes a becomes a nail. So in this case, if the only tool you have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then every chart is going to be labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC, and that's not necessarily the case. So we're looking at this like that. So you can see we've got 3 waves, correction, another 3 waves, and then a Y. And then after this, we start progression. We start this move like this. So you will see that we forecasted this move. We wanted it to take here and move down, but I wanted to get one more up. And the reason why I wanted to get one more up, the market does not have to do what I want. It must just play out according to the structure. Okay, so you can either get a WXY or a WXYZ. So here we get a WXY. We did not get the Z. Okay, so I was expecting that we're going to get one Z up. Okay, but in any case, we shorted it when it tagged at this point. So why was I looking at this structure like this? Because this was going to be the X, the new X, and then the Z. Okay, but we are now short on this move. Okay, and we took it right here looking for this move, and now it just keeps on going like that. How beautiful is that? Right, so keep track and go and watch previously. Unfortunately, that will only be hindsight. That will only be hindsight, and you are actually very late with this move. So to hop onto this trade, you need to wait for a deeper correction, and that deeper correction will be giving us a yellow correction like that. You need to get a correction here in the lower degree, a nice entry, maybe in the 4 hour like that, to take this move to the downside. And the next move here on this pair, you are looking for it to come down to this level first. So still a lot of pips to the downside. But you must remember, you need to have an entry strategy. Okay, so I got a lot of people sending me messages that they lost money with the pound, and I could not understand how you could possibly lose money with the pound, because the pound have been clearly bearish, and we've been analyzing them here week in, week out. Okay, so but just looking back to my amateur days some years back, I understand that most people struggle with the entry. Okay, and that is what we focused on. So you may have this wave theory, you may have the strategy, you may understand the wave theory correctly, and even in the book, it actually says that the wave theory is a good forecasting tool, right? But it does not really provide entries and exit. Okay, so that is something that is very important, more than knowing the direction. You can know that this thing is going down, but where do you enter? Okay, when you enter, it will take you out and eventually go. How many times have you taken a trade that goes against you, takes you out, or you actually exit and it actually goes your direction? I had somebody telling me that they forecasted 3,000 pips in the last month on one pair right, but they didn't get any money out of it. Okay, they forecasted the direction right, but they didn't get any money out of it. That's because the entry is more important than knowing the direction. You can know that this is going down, you come and sell here, and as soon as you sell, this thing starts correcting as you're expecting here like that. Okay, and when it starts correcting, then you think it's going up, it's going against you, and you exit, or it hits your stop loss, and then it starts going down like that. So entry is more important than this strategy. Okay, so that is pound US dollar. So if you look in the lower degree, you need to get a correction, a bounce at least. So we've been looking for that bounce for some time now, and we're looking at this as a V pattern, but it has not given us that bounce. So that bounce will only be for progression to the downside. So look out for a correction like that for further downside. So if you're not getting it like that, any move, even if it goes like this, look for it like that. So you are going to get a correction. The market does not move in a straight line. If you miss this from the top here, look for a corrective structure, a deeper corrective structure like that. Okay, that's pound US dollar. Let's go through the rest. US dollar CAD, you can see we focused this correction exactly as it played out 2 weeks ago. Actually, you can watch the video as well. 2 weeks ago, we were here. We had this move down here, and I said that you are going to get this corrective structure here. Okay, this is what I drew 2 weeks ago. So you can actually go and watch that as well. And now we are in this correction. So how does this correction look? This correction here looks like this. One, let's get in yellow. Get a move down, wrong color. So here, so I saw somebody in one of my groups saying that, not in my premium group, one of the free groups on Telegram, saying that this is going down. Okay, yes, it may be going down, but when? That's not going down in a straight line. You see here, we've got a clear 1, 2, 3, and now we are taking this top here. Now we can actually start going down. You see where the challenge becomes. And the challenge about trading the market is that everybody is an expert. Okay, so somebody was asking a question in a free group, and somebody with, I don't know if the person did not have experience or they just have a different strategy. They were saying that this is going down. And we could clearly see that this is going up. It will come back down, but when? Okay, so now we're expecting a move down. So we need to, for that move to be confirmed, we need to get a clear impulse to the downside like that, and a correction, then we'll take it down here like that. Easy. Okay, pound chief. Pound chief from last week, I'm looking at this as a corrective structure. Okay, we should get a bounce back to the upside. Remember, we're still looking for the US dollar to be strong. Right now, what is happening is just correction. So wait for this corrective structure to complete. But this correction may be a little bit tricky. Not tricky in the sense that it's complicated. It may do something like that, do something like that, giving you a correction like that here before it goes up. So this correction may go a little bit more sideways. So if you get a corrective structure like this, you take it up. Okay, the US dollar is still strong. It's just pulling back right now. All right, so that is US dollar chief, and looking at Audi US dollar. Okay, Audi US dollar, we spoke about this bounce last week as well. Okay, we spoke about all these bounces in the US dollar last week. Okay, so again here, look for a corrective structure like this. So while all the pairs that have got US dollar as the quoted currency, we're expecting a bounce like that. Okay, so just wait for correction and wait for a move that is similar in size as this one, because what could happen here is that you can have 1, 2, 3 like that, correction like that, another 1, 2, 3 like that, making this correction like that, and before you get a move down. Okay, so this is not necessarily the reversal here, and we'll adjust it as we go. Okay, so keep an eye on this one. So if we just show you the overall structure here on the daily, this is what we're looking at. Okay, that is the bounce. The bounce that we're looking now at here is this X here. That's the correction that you're looking at. So that correction must actually be deep. It will be giving you this move to the downside. Okay, that's Audi, and then New Zealand. Okay, also we expected that we're going to have a bounce here. All of them have bounced, including gold, as we've analyzed. Here you can see that this is going up correctively for this wave B. Okay, so let's clear and just show the whole structure. So if you look here, you see that we're looking at this whole thing as a W move and this whole correction as an X move. So that X move is not completed as yet. Let me switch off here. This is the whole move. And all of this here is just simply correcting this move. Okay, so how do we label that? There's the structure. If we can just take this off to clean up the chart a bit. You see, that is the W in blue. I want to do it in a different color. Somebody saying something on the chat box? Okay, so if for information on anything else, you can just send me an email. So let me not be distracted here with the questions about the premium group. So just look out for my contact details in the video, and then I'll respond to those questions. Okay, let's carry on now. So we've got the W move here, and then we've got this X move in blue. Okay, and then we'll be expecting this move to the upside. But this move to the downside is not complete yet. As you can see here, all I'm expecting here is a bounce in wave B before we get a move down. So going with the theme of the strong US dollar, currently it is following that. So if you look at the 4-hour now, so the 4-hour, you can see that we had a 3-wave move up. We had a 1, 2, 3 up, and now we're getting this one here. So you may get this one doing that before we start going. I think I should do it with yellow. I think it's clearer. 1, 2, 3 move. We got 1, 2. This can do that, like that, before we go up. So this move, as you can see, it's very corrective, and that does not necessarily mean reversal. That will just be that B move. Okay. I think we're moving a bit slowly here, so let's move a little bit faster. Okay, New Zealand US dollar. So let's load New Zealand US dollar. That's New Zealand US dollar actually. Exactly the same. And then the US dollar ZAR. So US dollar ZAR, very interesting. Textbook 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We looked at this impulse, looked at this as an expanding flat, switch this off. Okay, so I see somebody talking about the group. So the only group I have where I post my analysis is in our premium group, right? So there is no free group where I post analysis, okay? So we've got this as a 1, as a 2, as a 3 here, and this is a 4. So two things can happen here. Either we're already looking at this as a wave 5 to go and complete wave 5, and then an ABC, or if you look here at the personality, remember this difference between the wave personality and the sequence. So the sequence here can actually be, you've got 1, 2, 3 here, you've got 1, 2, 3 there, and this can be a passing move to the downside here to complete this expanding flat. Okay, and the interesting thing about the structure like this is that it has already broken this top, but it's coming down here. It can actually reverse at any point, even without breaking the low here. And if it does that and gives us a move like this here, then it becomes. So this is the challenge with this one. The reversal may not be easy to pick up, but you will see when it breaks out of the structure that is coming down. So even if it reverses anywhere here for a wave 5, that's still okay, because that will be a running flat structure, okay, for a wave 5. But it does not stop it from keeping on coming down here and breaking the low. So you need to understand what the structure is all about. So here we'll be looking for it to give us a move to the upside. If this is not the wave 4 that is completed, or if this is the wave 4 and this is the wave 5 here, that's all you can see here. You can have a W move here. That is 1, that is 2, that is 3. You may get another correction like that, and then that gives you W, X, Y, and then your cycle continues again. You get this big correction here. So keep an eye on that one. We are busy building with this correction here. Okay, right, so let's look at the pound pairs. So today I'm going to start with pound JPY. Not the pound pairs. I want to look at the yen pairs first, but I'm going to look at pound JPY and how interesting wave analysis is, and how much confidence it gives you when you know how the structure moves. So 2 weeks ago on this pair, we said we are busy with building this correction here, right? We're busy building this correction, and I showed 2 scenarios when we were here, before all of this played out here. So these are the scenarios, the 2 scenarios that I showed here. And look how this plays out. So you had a move up like that and a move down. So this is that move here and a move down, right? So I said 2 things would happen. I said either this is going to do this, come back down here, go back up, right? Before we get a move to the downside. Okay, and the second scenario was this one. Remember, this is what we had. We had a move up, we had a move down. And the second scenario was this one that is now played out. I said, we're going to have this, doing this, going to break the top there, which it has now done, going to break the top before coming down like that. Let's get the same color. Doing this, and then the up before we get the down. See here, these 2 scenarios. It's clear. And somebody asked a very interesting question. So he said, so now you focused in 2 types of corrections. Okay, both of them are going down, but they've got a slightly different structure. Both of them are going down. So how do you trade this now? Because you've got 2 scenarios. So my answer was, it does not matter, because when the correction is complete, you will know when to sell. That's exactly what I said in the video 2 weeks ago. So now, last week here, when the correction was complete, I told you guys last week that the correction is complete and now we are selling here. Okay? So that was last week. Eventually you got this structure here. You got this one here. This was the move. This was the down. Okay? And this was the correction here that went to break the top, and now we're getting this move. You see, everything we do is following the structure. What is this one here? This is a simple WXY. Okay, so the simple W, and this was a bounce in X, and now we're getting this move. This move is over 400 pips already, and this is how we took this move here. If I just go to my workspace here on Slack and show you how we took that move. Let's see if I can find it on pound JPY. Pound JPY. Let's get it on trade setups. So this is pound JPY. This is when we were taking the move. As you can see, we know when to take these moves right here. And now we're just about 20 pips from profit. Okay, you can see this is exactly how this played out. It dropped. This is why I was saying I don't understand how anybody may lose money trading the pound, because the pound is dropping and they're all bearish like that, as you have seen. So this move here may look very small. Let's just check here quickly. This move, as you could see that we took it there. This is almost 400 pips already drop, a drop of 400 pips. And as you can see here, if I put on here how we took the move, you see that this is a painless trade. It does not linger around your stop loss. It just drops. These are the kind of moves that we like to trade. So now only 40 pips to target. And I said to my team members last week that this target is actually very modest. This can still go down further. Why would it go down further? Let me show you on the daily. Let's just go to the daily, and then we'll do the rest of the yen pairs now. So you can see my target is just here. So that will complete this 1, 2, 3 wave structure. We're gonna get a bounce here at some point for a further move to the downside. So like pound US dollar, the next stop may be right here, long term. Okay, but then don't go and sell and say you're targeting this area. You need to have an entry point and the strategy. You need to know what this sequence is doing here. For now, the next move is to wait for a corrective structure there. A bit of a bounce. So here, the target is only as far as the area where we'll be expecting a bit of a bounce. Okay. But if you get that, then you can hop it on to the downside. Right, so that's pound JPY. Looking at the rest of the yen pairs, now we're looking at US dollar JPY. So if you look at US dollar JPY, we've got this pullback to the downside, right? So what could happen here is that you can have a structure like that. That could even come back and retest the top. A structure like this before you go for a move up, because where US dollar is strong and the structure is following that. So we're looking at the looking at US dollar JPY. This is the structure. We're looking at a corrective structure. So somebody asked me, so because US dollar JPY has broken the trend line, are we now bearish? The trend line does not mean anything. I only use trend lines for channeling. Okay, so trend lines, you could get this here doing that, giving you this correction, move down before we get a move to the upside. So we're gonna get a bit of sideways move here. So if you had a trend line that looked something like this that was broken and you formed that structure, what are you gonna do with that trend line? What you're gonna do is you're going to adjust it like this. So what good is a trend line if you're gonna keep adjusting it? So that's why I do not necessarily trade the trend lines. I trade the structure in relation to the Fibonacci numbers. Right, so next week I'm going to give you a bit of a tip with the Fibonacci numbers and see how interesting they are. Okay, so last week we only spoke about the golden spiral and the common ratio. So I'm going to give you a bit of a 5-minute tip on Fibonacci, if somebody can remind me if I don't forget. Okay, so that's US dollar JPY. This does not look very bearish to me. We've got an impulsive move down, but we can get a corrective structure here. get a move down and up like that. So let's watch how this develops here. All right, EURJPY, exactly as analyzed for the last 2 months. All right, this is how accurate this is. So we had this move here to the downside like this. We said this structure is not changing direction. We just wanted it to break this top here, which it does, and gives us a V pattern in the move down. Okay, see how interesting this analysis is, right? And then it moves down. Okay, so I said here last week that we're getting a bounce here on this level. It's a critical level, and the reason why I said this is going to break this level here is because something like that has already happened with Pound JPY. Sorry, CHFJPY. CHFJPY has already made this structure. And this is why here, when it corrected, you definitely had to get this move to the downside. Okay, and why do you want that move to the downside? Let me show you on the daily once again. And this is the chart that I've been showing, I think, for the last 2 months. See how accurate this is. Even before this started happening, go 2 months ago, you will see that I said this structure will happen here. So you can see it is now happening, and it's almost close to complete. And now this structure went up like that, so this can do exactly the same. Okay, interesting. So now, if you've read anything on the Elliott Wave theory about alternation, and this is something that I said also 2 months ago. Before this, I said that this is going to happen even when we're just here. Before we even formed this structure, we wanted this structure. That's the confidence that this will give you. So I said here, this looked very corrective here, pulse, and then this last piece here is very sharp. So I expected that this one will be, actually expected that this one here, the top will be sharp, correction, and this one will be corrective in case of, just to have alternation. A sharp move and a corrective move like that. So here, we're expecting this move to be like that. We'll be expecting a bounce here soon. It is not complete yet, and you need to wait for confirmation to confirm that this is the move that you're getting. All right, that's how interesting this is. So now let's look at this structure on CHFJPY that has already happened like that. I'm going to go to the 4 hour. So look what happens, and with correlation, and you understand the structure. You see here, you had already that 3-wave pullback on CHFJPY, but CHFJPY already broke this way back in the in middle April. Okay, in middle April, it already broke this level. What did it do when it got to this level? It made a bounce. Maybe let me show you both charts on the same screen, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And on the right-hand side here, these similarities are very, very critical. On the right-hand side, you've got EURJPY. And we don't do this in hindsight. So look on the left-hand side, she's made this structure here. Okay, after that structure, it went down, and right on this critical level that we talked about last week, it made this bounce to the upside. Okay, this was in April when it broke down here, and it broke down with this move. Right, so now EURJPY, exactly the same move, right, which you focused it even before this whole structure happened. What happens here now? It makes a move down. Last week I said, here we're getting a bounce, we're getting a correction. Why was I saying that? Because this has made the exact same move, and I said CHFJPY has already broken, and now this will definitely break. That is the break that you got here. Okay, so you cannot just do wave analysis without correlation. And correlation, as I've said previously, is not a blanket approach that the pairs will always move together in the same time. They lag each other. As you can see that this structure happened in mid-April. This one is happening now. So you can actually follow this structure and sell this one for so many pips to the downside. Easy, easy, easy pips here. Okay. Right, so let's carry on with the rest of the yen pairs. We're gonna move a little bit quicker here now. Right, so all of this structure is now very corrective for further move to the downside. Okay, only up to that level, that is CHFJPY. AUDJPY, similar. We're still bearish here. We got this correction. Looks like it wants to break to the downside. Wait for it to break clearly to the downside for this short move. That's AUDJPY. Just show you the structure. So AUDJPY, if you look at the previous videos as well, we can just locate this. That arrow was showing you where the reversal was going to happen, and that is exactly where it happened, because after that you got this pullback here. So now you may have this 1, 2, 3 wave pullback as well. Okay. But now you're getting this corrective structure. Might take you back to that level, or even back to the low here. So keep an eye on this correction here. If you want to trade, the next one is to the downside here. That's Audi, and then New Zealand. New Zealand, it's following exactly that structure. Okay, we had a move up. We're getting this move down. You can see that arrow. I wanted it to come back down here. We're getting a correction. We'll move to the downside here to complete that Y. Okay, if I switch this off, this could even do something like this here. Something like that. Go back and retest there before it completes the Y like that. But you just have to see what corrective structure forms here. And selling here may be very tricky. You must be very careful when you sell here, because that Y will be completing right there. Okay. Right. That's AUDCAD, CADJPY. We're still expecting it to do this move here. We've got a move down. Look for correction here and take the next move to this level, like the rest of the yen pair. So this one is got a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive structure, and now we're making this one here that looks like an A. Now we'll be building this B here and then a C. Okay, so the next move is down on this pair. Okay, that's CAD, and that covers all the yen pairs. Now let's look at the rest of the pound pairs. We're starting with pound CAD. Pound CAD, if I go to the daily. So pound CAD and pound Audi, for the last 2 months, I'm doing them together because there's a very clear correlation here between the two pairs. I'm gonna put them up both on the same screen. Let's get 2 charts and split them. Let's just load them up here. On the left-hand side, I'm going to put on pound Audi. So pound Audi on the left. So this correlation is amazingly accurate. So if you look on the left-hand side, you have exactly as what happened with the Euro and CHFJPY pairs. Here you've got a move here actually coming down here. This from swing high to a swing low here. What happened was that you had a move like this, a 3-wave move like this, and from there, from our so-called blue box strategy, we expected to get this reversal here. Why? Because we had made a 3-wave move and we wanted to get another 3-wave move pullback. So what is happening with, okay, this on the right-hand side here, I need to get pound CAD. We're looking at pound CAD now. On the left-hand side, if you're looking on pound CAD, you will see that this move in red that has played out on the left-hand side, this move has already played out. It played out in August of last year. We had the move down. Here, you're only having this move here, same move, exactly the same move that is currently happening now. 3-wave pullback. You had a swing high to swing low here, 1, 2, 3. Swing high to swing low here, 1, 2, 3. And now you're getting this move to the downside. So this is why we have been selling pound CAD from right at the tip. So I wanted it to just tag here and reverse. Doesn't matter if it breaks here, because all it's going to be doing is just a zigzag. So now we are looking at this move here like this, a move down, and I'm expecting a bounce at some point like this to take us all the way down here to the 88. Similar to this, as you will see here, there was also a pattern here, 1, 2, 3 like that. See, a Gatli pattern. So even here, we could have a same pattern that plays out like this, because this is very similar. It's very similar structures. So that pattern can do something like this. I think I showed this last week as well. This, you will get a bounce here at some point that will take you back to the 88 for a move to the upside. As you can see here, pound Audi also, after that move, it went up. So even this year, after that move, it went up. So the reason why I was saying, go and check out this analysis on the pound CAD for the last 2 months or so, is because this analysis have been spot on. Okay, we have been buying from when it corrected here, and this was 1,100 pips. We have already dropped over 1,100 pips again here now. We're expecting a bounce. So already 2,000 pips up and down, just following this move here, up and down, okay? And all those analyses, we did them here. So if you follow and you click on the timestamps on pound CAD going back, webinars going back, you will see when we were here, I kept saying we keep buying. It does not matter what the personality of the wave looks like, okay? We are going to keep buying, because all we wanted was for this to take this top here. Okay, so when you take the top, we exited the trade. When you take the top, we exited the trade, and then we waited for the move to the downside, corrected, and then now we're getting this 1,000 pips to the downside. That's how amazing this analysis is. Okay, right. So what is the next thing to wait for on pound Audi? Pound Audi, what you're going to wait for is a deep corrective structure for a move to the downside, and that's exactly the same thing you're going to wait for on pound CAD. Get a bounce for a move down. Let's look in the lower time frame and see if we've got any indication of a bounce anytime soon. I think all the pound pairs are indicating that we're going to get a bounce sometime soon. As you can see here, we already get our popular V pattern here. Okay, but here we're going to get one more down before get this one. So that move to the upside may not be the reversal, may just be a corrective one for a move down. Okay, amazing stuff. Okay, all right, so pound in New Zealand. Looking at pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand, this is the last swing high here. There's a wave 5. I'm not gonna show the whole structure. So we've got 1, 2, 3 going on there, like that. So, and then this is corrective like that. I showed 2 scenarios last week, and this is the one that is best playing out. Okay, and now we're getting this move to the downside. This could be a 1, this could be a 2. Let's see how this extends here to the downside for a wave 3. Okay, so which means in that case, you're gonna need to get a bounce like that for correction back to that level. That will give you this similar move here. My mouse is just a bit skew now. 1, you'll see here that you've got a running flat. You had a move here and a move like that. So we'll be expecting here to have something like that, to get progression like that. Okay, and this whole structure will be AWXY like that. So that is pound New Zealand. So you'll see that now you are waiting for a corrective structure here for a further trade to the downside. Okay, so let's just see. So the W is actually there now. It's actually here. That is X. That is Y there. And here will just be a lower degree. So this is the structure. Structure is 1, is 2, is 3 here, and here is just lower degree here. In the lower degree for this one, you'll see it clearly on the lower time frame. 1, 2, 3, like that. See, 3, 3, 3, 333 structure. Now you're making this 3 structure again here now. That's why you can expect a bounce here and another 3-wave structure that should give you a similar move as this one. Similar move as this one. Okay. So for progression to the downside, you need correction here. That's pound New Zealand. All right, I think we covered all the pound pairs. Pound CHF. Pound CHF. We expected this sharp move to the downside because I am comparing, interestingly, pound CHF with New Zealand US dollar. Not that there's any correlation between the pairs, but the structure that is playing out is exactly the same. So let's do that comparison quickly. Left hand side is pound CHF, right hand side will be New Zealand US dollar. And you'll see that there's a similar structure that is happening there. Okay, I'm opening New Zealand US dollar. And pound CHF on the daily as well. Okay. So this is the similarity in this structure. I'm only looking at this piece that is already played out on New Zealand US dollar. And as I've said, this is not correlation. It's just the structures. Remember, market is repetitive in nature. So it's not surprising to see these moves looking so similar. We got an impulse there on pound Swiss. Okay, so it actually started here in 2015. And we had a 3-wave correction here. After the 3-wave correction, we went up with a corrective structure like that, and then we pulled back down sharply. What happened here on pound Swiss, now between 2017 and now, we made a 1, 2, 3 move down, okay, before we made a move up that ended up correctively. What happened here? It makes a sharp move down. It makes a sharp move down. All right. Then it makes a move to the upside. This is New Zealand US dollar now, like that. Okay, this one also makes a sharp move to the upside. And I said last week, for the last couple of weeks before the reversal, then we should expect this move here, this sharp move. And now we've got that sharp move. Okay, so if we got that sharp move, we should be expecting that we're going to finalize this move with this one here that ended up with a V pattern up and then a V pattern here before we come back down. Okay, so that's how these structures are. But as much as the structures are similar, that should still follow. They should still follow the sequence and the count. Okay, so even our count is telling us that we need to come and do a Y there, the top on pound Swiss. We still need to go do a Y. So you need to watch how this one behaves because we've got a very strong impulse to the downside. This may make a move down first, or maybe even make before it goes up with that move that we're looking at. Okay, let's keep an eye. For now, there's no indication of a bounce. Let's look in the lower time frame, 4 hour. Okay, there's not even divergence there. There's no divergence. So let's keep an eye for a move, for that move. All right, so that's pound CHF, concludes all the pound pairs. Let's look at the euro pairs. Start with EURCAD. It's one of the amazing pairs that we make a lot of money on because the analysis is so clear. Okay. So this is what we looked at, similar to pound CAD. From this correction here, we have been buying this one here for over 1,400 pips to that level, and we already dropped another 1,000 pips to the downside. Why? Because we are simply looking at this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 structure, and we're looking for this to come back down with an impulse. Very interesting, and we'll be looking for it to come back down to that level. At that level, then we're going to expect this to continue with this move while it is making this big regular flat in the middle here. So what is it? What one needs to do to trade this? It's easy because you've got the trend. So when you've got the trend like this, you only wait for corrective structures, continuation patterns. So here you're getting what looks like a V pattern. I'm sure it's coming definitely with divergence. So just be careful with this divergence. That divergence can only be telling you that you're going to get a short bounce to the upside that does this, then comes back down like that. And you get this corrective structure for further downside, because we are very bearish EURCAD. And these corrections may be very shallow. All right. So I would not even be interested in buying these short-term bounces to the upside. As much as you've got divergence and the V pattern there, the structure is looking downside. Moves up may be very short. Okay, so only look for corrective moves to the downside. All right, on that is EURCAD, EURAUD. Where am I? EUROPES. EURAUD is very clear. Very clear. You should all be making a lot of money on this one. Let's go to the daily. I showed you this ending diagonal here, or leading diagonal rather. It's an ending diagonal. There's the ending diagonal. Very clear. Checks all the boxes. Textbook. So you're gonna need to, it's already qualifies to be a wave 3 here. So what we're looking for is an ABC move, because this is already a 1, 2, 3. We just need to locate the end of our wave 3, a bounce in wave 4, which means we're still bearish for wave 5 before we get a bigger one. So if you get this bigger one here, then you're taking it down all the way down for the wave C. Very, very clear, easy money here. Okay, those who trade trend lines will also have traded it because it has broken the trend line as well. Okay, so that's what you need to do. So similarly here, we're making what looks like a bit of a slowing down move here. You're gonna get a bounce. When you get bounces like this, you keep selling them. Okay, you just need to be careful because that bounce can do something like that, can come back up here, and continue like that. Okay, so you need to have a strategy that protects your money when this happens. You know the direction is down, but it goes up, comes in, takes you out, it goes up, you go in again, and then when you go into to buy, it takes you out again, and then it goes down. Okay, so you just need to know and have a strategy to protect yourself from that. Euro New Zealand. Let's look at Euro New Zealand now. Euro New Zealand, similar structure to the pound New Zealand structure. Let's switch that off here, show you on the daily. So we are building this structure here. We made a 1, 2, 3 move to the downside. And I'm looking at this structure here in the middle as an expanding flat. And that is the structure, which is 1, 2, 3 like that. And now we're making a move to the downside. It's been a bit of a difficult one. So now you need to get a correction like that to get a move like that. So you'll see that this move will be similar to this one here. Okay, so if you wanted to use the bars pattern to project there, you can do this here, take that move and project it there. So at some point here, you need to have a similar bounce as that one for a further move to the downside. And that will give you this 1, 2, 3 move, okay? But that will be completing this bigger one in the higher degree. Let's switch that off. Could be completing just this one here, this zigzag, and then we start to move to the upside, okay? We need to keep an eye, but for now, we just need to take it down. Keep taking it down, okay? So do not rely so much on this trend line. Trend line will only tell you that this structure is done, and it will tell you very late. As you can see here, this has already dropped over 600 pips from here. Okay, so any correction here, whether it's there or whether it's on the trend line or whether it's outside the trend line, you're gonna take it because you're gonna get this move similar to this one, similar to this one, similar to this one. Okay, that's Euro New Zealand. And lastly, on the Euro pairs, it's Euro Pound. So Euro Pound, I'm only expecting this to go and retest the top here. Okay, if you want to see the overall structure on this one, watch a couple of previous videos. That is the first correction, that is the second correction, and this will be the third one. So if you look at this here, you'll see that this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, like that. This is 1, 2, 3 in the first leg, 1, 2, 3 second leg, 1, 2, and the third leg here. That's why I'm expecting up. So this is actually a WX and then a Y structure. If you like to put in a lot of numbers, that will be another lower degree. You would have this one becoming a W here, X. This one becoming a W here, X, W, X. And now we are building up this Y to complete this structure, this whole corrective structure that will then complete and move to the downside like that. Okay. Let's see if I've got all those labelings there. I've got it like exactly like that. Okay, WX, where now we're looking for the Y. That will at least come and check this level here. All right. That's Euro Pound. So now in the lower degree, if I go 4 hour, looks like you've got a corrective structure and a nice impulse to the upside. So it's confirming that. So last week we said we've got a 3-wave up, 1, 2, 3, and I said expect a 3-wave pullback like that. Now we're getting an impulse. At the end of this correction, you can take this one for further upside. Okay, that's Euro Pound. All right, so let's look at some of the Audi and CAD pairs. AUDCAD, you should have bought it here. When this correction was playing out, that was last Sunday, you should have bought it here. And then you already got that, all of that move. Okay, looks like it's making a 1, 2, a 3 there. If you get a correction here, you're gonna get a short wave 5 there before you get a deeper correction. Okay, very easy one. That's Audi. And Audi New Zealand. Audi New Zealand, so don't let these moves fool you. I've shown this time and time again on New Zealand CAD, what they do. So if I just do this here, if I cut this here, right? So this is where we were last week. Exactly, the chart was like this last week, Sunday, when we did the webinar. Okay, the Sunday morning. When we did the webinar, I said this move down does not mean anything. Why? Because the trend is up. The only thing that could happen is for this to come here like that, come back down possibly before we go up and build this corrective structure. So somebody will say we've got a daily close candle, we've got a bearish candle and all that stuff. It's not how the market moves, okay? Not that it's going to be wrong. It's just a different way of looking at the market, but it's not the most accurate way because you could lose money, especially when you're looking at bearish reversal, the daily close, and all those kind of things. So this is what it was, and I said it is not a down move, and this is how it played out. Exactly as we said, correction, come and take the top, and then move down. Now we're coming down here. Now we're coming back down here. And this also, where are we this week? This week as well, you've got a bearish candle on the 4 hour. Okay, what you call a bearish engulfing candle on the 4 hour. It does not mean anything. Okay, it's just that in this case now, it's following the structure, and it may just come back here and test this level. That's all. And when it is complete there, we're going to expect an impulsive move to the upside, and you're going to get another entry here. We're actually running this from very, very low, from where this swing started. I'm going to go to the daily, and we looked at this right here in this webinars. You also have a very clear advanced pattern here. Harmonic, like this. Okay, it's already there. I don't even have to plot it, which we bought on the 88, and now this is on over 450 pips. Easy pips. Okay, and all of that was analyzed here. Okay, look at that bearish engulfing candle on the daily. But why doesn't it go down? So this is the difference between the wave principle and other strategies. Okay, with the wave principle, any move that you do not focus correctly can be explained with the theory. So it means you can either make mistakes, but the principle itself is always almost right. Okay, very accurate. All right, so that is Audi New Zealand, AUDCHF. AUDCHF is one of my favorite pairs because it makes a very interesting structure. If you're looking on my screen right now, you'll see I've got similar patterns, and we have actually been buying this one based on those patterns. It has not been going as fast as we'd like. So if you look at this piece here, where we get a move down, up, come back down, and you get a pattern like that, okay? After this V pattern here, we got all of this move to the downside. I showed how we bought that. And we're looking at this move here, doing exactly the same thing on this side, coming back down here, V pattern. We actually took the trade from right here. Okay, as you can see, it has gone up, but it has not been going up aggressively as we have expected. But that's not a problem because we can see what the structure is doing. We've got an up, we've got a 1, 2, 3 move up, and now we're just looking for this to make a 3-wave pullback like that. Okay, and this will continue with a further move to the upside like that, because we are trading also this advanced pattern which we bought here on the 78. Okay, this is exactly on the 78 here. Okay, the target here is still out of the screen, modest. So you'll see, as much as you're trading the harmonics, you are still following the sequence and the structure. Okay, so this is corrective. Let's see if we get a nice pulsing move to the upside, and we can hop on again. Add some more trades if you're still long on this one. Right, that is AUDCHF. I think somebody asked me to do AUDCHF, and that is the analysis on AUDCHF. Okay. You wait for the corrective structure here to complete. We're taking it up. We are still bullish on this one. Right. CADJPY also, there's a nice harmonic pattern. I'm not going to go into detail here that we're trading, and I've shown you this from right at the bottom there. Any move like this does not mean anything. It can be a corrective structure, similar to what we said about, which one was that we spoke about? Similar to what we said about, I can't remember, we just spoke about it now. Okay, but you can get the idea. All right. Okay, let's carry on. That is CADJPY. You just wait for corrective structure. Similar to where I was talking about out in New Zealand. You see that structure? That bearish candle on the 4-hour does not mean anything. This is the structure that it will also be forming. As you can see, exactly the same for a move up. Two pairs that are different doing exactly the same structure. Okay. Oil. Oil easy. We did say that this is wave 3 and we're looking for a red wave, a yellow wave 4. So we're building this wave 4 here now. This one was, oil is actually very easy to trade because it follows structure very, very accurately. So now you need to see what kind of structure wave 4 is going to build, whether it's going to give you a correction like that. But there's a number of corrections that it can come up with. So you need to see, first of all, the first thing to be done here is a lower degree correction like that for another move to the downside. Okay, so that move, that downside is not going to be all the way, it's not the total reversal. You just need to take a length at least that is similar to this one on oil. Okay, so we didn't do gold and silver. Let's look at gold. Silver and gold, we start with gold. We go on the daily. And then we'll look at the indices and the cryptocurrencies. So if you look on gold daily, I showed you this structure here. I'm going to take this bars pattern, take it from here to here. Look at this bars pattern that has happened in 2016, and compare with what is currently happening here. You will see that we have exactly the same. I'm going to do this one with a different color. See here? Let's just do that one with the color. Let's do this one with green. All right. So how did this one play out previously? The previous one has played out like that. It made that 3-wave down, 3-wave pullback. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 pullback, a move down, a sharp reversal before it went all the way down. Okay, what is happening now? 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3 pullback before it makes a move all the way down. Okay, are we going to get this move here, this sharp reversal, this sharp pullback before we get a move to the downside? So that's what we need to wait for. We're already getting this move here and we are getting a buy setup here. Let's go on the 4-hour. And take this off and switch off the labeling as well. You have a nice impulse here in 3 waves. 1, you get an expanding flat in the middle there, and you get this. So here, wait for a 3-wave move. Corrective structure like that. Take it a move similar to this one. Okay. A move similar to this one. Bounce like that. Silver. You've got a pulsing move here and you are getting this one as a correction. So this one here may just drop slightly and give you this move like that. Actually, the last piece may be a 3-wave structure like that, as you can see here. That will even come back and retest this top here. Okay. After that, you'll expect a move like this, like that. See the structure there? This is now your W, your X, and then your Y. Okay, so if gold is coming, dropping, it will be dropping with this move. A bounce will be up in this move, and then a drop. Okay, that's silver. And we can look at some of the indices. So there's nothing has happened in the last 2 weeks on the indices. You see all of them are still just sitting in these corrections. Nothing has happened here. So I'm still expecting this to finish its move here, making this a 1, 2, 3 wave structure. Okay, so if I just show the structure in, this is my projection. You can see here where my arrow is. This was last week. I'm expecting it to complete this wave to the upside before it comes down. Okay, we already have a move down in yellow, and all of this here is correcting this move. So when this is complete, it will complete this X move here, and then we'll expect down like that. So the next thing to wait for, next immediate move, is to wait for this correction to complete, and you're going to get this short move to the upside. Can even come and test this one here, but we'll see as that it happens. We'll see we'll look at the volume expansion when it breaks. That is S&P and the NASDAQ. Same, nothing has happened. Same projection. We're waiting for this to break to the upside, so this can go on down. We're looking for a short move. We're actually looking for short moves to the upside on the indices. See, as far as the structure is concerned, right? And then the UK 100, that is the FTSE. So interesting about the FTSE and correlation. So if you look at the FTSE, you'll see that we get this move here with a V pattern here. And last week I said we are right here at this critical point here. So this will reverse because it is at this critical point. So we've got that reversal, and now we're getting this correction. Firstly, take it up to that level. So you've got the FTSE doing that. Let me bring up the Nikkei. On the right hand side, you'll see that the Nikkei was doing exactly the same move. Let's undo that. Okay, so the Nikkei was doing the same move, but the Nikkei was not close to the top. See, this one was taking the top. So even if you didn't know what the Nikkei was going to do here, you could see that this one was already close to this move. It was going to break and come back down. So the Nikkei needed to reverse, because as much as they are correlated, they're going to do the same. The moves will be directly correlated, but they're not going to be doing the same things. So here, this could just be doing a correction here. You see, it's behind the other indices. Then it will come and take the top. So while it is doing that, this could be correcting here, but this one will be continuing with the move to the upside, depending on what structure we have here. Okay? But we've got an impulse, and when you have an impulse, you expect a correction and a move down. You've got an impulse down, you expect a correction and a move to the downside. Okay? There is the Nikkei, the DAX. We already have those reversals on the DAX. Correction like that, take it down like that. Okay. And there's somebody who always asks for the NIFTY, so I'm going to do NIFTY as well. NIFTY. Go back to one screen. Let's go to the NIFTY. So NIFTY, you can see it's also exactly the same. NIFTY had already made the move down. It already made the move down, and I said we need to get a correction here. I still want a correction. It's just that it's getting a bit deeper. So I still want a correction here, like the other pair, for a move like that. You can see that the move is exactly same on all the indices. You get an A, B here, and then your V pattern here. This one did not break the top. The only one that broke the top was the FTSE. So we could actually follow what the rest of the indices will do. So a correction here and a further move to the downside. All right, and lastly, the cryptocurrencies. We'll start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin will go to the daily, show the overall structure. 1, 2, 3. The cryptos are very clear. 1, 2, and now we're making this lower degree one here. 1, 2. So this one is going to come back and take here this low here. So watch out for a bounce like this here, and for this move to continue here like that, and this one here. So if you're getting that move like that, then you may still get another one like this, similar to this one. So cryptocurrencies, very, very bearish if this is going to go sideways. So this is simply WXY correction. Internally, you've got WXY. Internally, you've got WXY. Okay, easy. So next move, you are waiting, you're looking for this to come back down to this level. So this level is very critical. Okay, it can even come back to this one here, and not because it's a support and resistance level, because if it comes back down here, it means it is making a pulse and a 3-wave pullback that comes down here and makes this move, which will be a regular flat like that. And if it comes down to this one only, then it is only making this one. That means that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Still the same move. It's just the way it's gonna play out, and we still expect the same. Okay, and the same goes with all the cryptocurrencies. If I just go to the 4-hour here, you'll see that we are bearish until that level. You just got a correction here. Short-term traders can take a short here that's just broken here. You can take it to that level around the 6,400 level. That's your target initially. Okay, Litecoin, same structure, go daily. You can see exactly the same structure. One, let's do it with yellow. It's 1, 2, 3, and now we're getting this correction here. 1, 2, 3 here. So that could be that bounce that I was looking for on all the others like that. So keep an eye on the cryptocurrencies like that. So we are bearish only up until this level. This one is closer than Bitcoin. It will give us direction as what will happen in this area. Whether we're gonna break for this one or whether we're gonna get a bounce before we come back down. Okay, Ethereum. Ethereum is a little bit behind, but we still have 1, we still have 2, we still have 3, and now this one has only made this one. If you saw the other cryptocurrencies have already made this one, and they're busy with this one here. Actually, they're busy with the move to the downside. Okay, so that's why we're expecting this downside on the rest to come to this level and bounce for this one. So this one is still way behind, but it is now making this correction here for the move to the downside. It will be making a downside move correlated with the rest of the cryptos, but it is still behind. It will just be building this one here. The others are now here. Okay, that is Bitcoin and Litecoin. Bitcoin and Litecoin have already made this 1, 2, 3 move here. They're here. So they just need to drop to that level and see if we can bounce there and bounce there. So it's easy to trade Ethereum because it's behind. You can just follow what Bitcoin and Litecoin are doing on this one. Ripple, same as Bitcoin and Litecoin. You can see the structure. That is that 1, 2, 3, like that. And now we're making this bounce here. 1, 2, 3. Whether this, and I'm more inclined for a bounce here. We'll make this one here and go sideways like that. Okay, so that's all I had for you this morning. Thank you for watching. The timestamps may be a little bit delayed because I'm still on course here. We've got a course here in Centon, so they will come out soon. Please like and share the videos. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a great trading week ahead. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.